Welcome to Season 2 of It Takes a Family, a podcast that helps take parenting from desperation to hope. I'm one of your hosts, Andy.
And I'm your co-host, Kelly. Once a week, we highlight experts and other parents like you who have been in the trenches of parenting, bringing hard lessons learned and insights on how to navigate even the most difficult of family circumstances.
So Season 2, we've been tackling the Gen Z mental health crisis head-on using groundbreaking research from the Barna Group and Dr. Stephanie Shackelford.
Yep. And we've broken the season down into 6 vital themes, everything from navigating technology to caring for our own health as parents. We're splitting each topic into 2 parts. In part 1, we look at the data and practical tips with Dr. Shackelford. And in part 2, which today is a part 2, we will be bringing in a guest to the show just to share additional ideas of how to make this practical in our own lives.
So today's part 2 on our discussion on increased connectedness and building thick community. We're really excited to have Shane with us today.
Yeah, so y'all, if you don't know Shane, you need to know Shane. So this is Shane Sullards, and he's joining us today to help us understand more of what is keeping Gen Z, but also ourselves as parents from experiencing connectedness. So Shane, a little bit about Shane. He is an entrepreneur. He is the founder of Lapdog Inc., which is a leadership and team building company. He is an avid adventurer, which seems like an understatement. He's hiked the Appalachian Trail and more recently some Himalayan peaks. And most importantly, he is husband to Stephanie for 30 years. And together they have 3 children, ages 15 to 19. So you are in it with us, Shane. Yeah, and as y'all will discover as this conversation continues, we have just a really special connection with Shane and his story. So really glad you're here, Shane.
Shane, glad you're here. It's going to be really fun. So the way that we start this podcast almost always is we'd love to hear about the family you grew up in and the family you lead now.
Yep. Family I grew up in Stone Mountain. I'm the youngest of 3 boys, and mom and dad were together the whole time, so never got divorced. I mention that because my dad gave my mom plenty of reasons, but she just stayed. She was very committed, and so grew up in Stone Mountain, lived there until I was 14. But I think because of some of my choices, but absolutely because of my dad's choices, I haven't lived at home since I was 14. Wow. So came to Eagle Ranch. I got locked up first, and then after about a month, my mom, again, she's Jesus on earth, really. I had 18 months where I had to go somewhere, just from, again, choices that I'd made. And so the court was fine just with the RYDC, but it was pretty terrible. And so she just advocated for me and my next oldest brother. We were both locked up at that time. So she got us in front of a judge again and petitioned Eagle Ranch and submitted everything to it. And it came with high standards and things I had to comply to and got checked in on. But she got me here to Eagle Ranch.
Wow.
So
And how long did you live here?
3.5 years as a boy. Yeah.
All right.
And then worked here a couple of years.
Wow.
In that order.
Yeah. In that order. And then my family now, just a 19-year-old girl, 15 and 17-year-old sons. So I guess 2 Gen Zers and 1 right on the cusp of Gen Alpha.
Wow. So Shane, this whole episode today is kind of around community and the way that it's important for Gen Z to sort of connect with a larger community. They're disconnected, more disconnected than ever. But as kind of a starting point, how have you seen community impact your own story and then how you've parented your children?
Yeah, that's good. So I think the value in community for me, I guess itself, I'll start there, is what it does for my well-being, my identity, gives me collective strength when I sort of think through it. And this idea of community is sort of, it's almost at a point where I realize I can't.
Yeah.
I get a lot of energy and I recharge a lot in isolation by myself. I'm very independent. It's that mentality of if it's not you, then who, and if not now, then when.
Right.
So I'm kind of always in that place of like, I got to get this done.
Right.
but it's kind of arrogant, and the ego gets wrapped up in there, and I get a lot of strength and resiliency built out of try, but when I can't, I need my community. And if I didn't have that, I think I would just fail consistently
and
all
it's
the
just,
time.
I feel like it's so good that you recognize that you're self-aware enough to be like, you know what, I'm kind of isolating a little bit too much right now. Things are getting weird, and I need to engage with people. So is that something, how far back do you recognize that now looking back? Like when?
Yeah, that's good. Because Eagle Ranch is my community. And again, I'm 51 now. I've got 3 kids, 19, 17, 15, right? We talk about that. Been married 30 years. But yet there's not a week for sure, and probably not every other day, that I don't think about some of the lessons I learned at Eagle Ranch growing up. And so this idea of community, but it is voluntary. I could easily isolate myself from the ranch and say, don't call, I can be done. I'm not going to participate anymore. But I'd like to think my perspective adds some value with some of the kids at times. My family comes out here twice a month and feeds a family, or we get to eat in a home.
Right.
And we'll be out here tomorrow night, and we get excited about it. And we look for opportunity to try to raise the level of water for everybody, regardless of who they are, where they are, how they sit in the home at that time. But the strength that we gain from that is selfish and an insight of like, all right, God's gifted us and equipped us to give, to do, to be around, to surround others with whatever we can give. And as my default, I'm not able to do that if I'm by myself and struggle somewhere.
And it's an interesting balance for any introvert. I don't know what it's like to be an introvert. It sounds terrible. Being an extrovert's awesome. But I do, like, it's a challenge for any introvert that, yes, there's a recharge, but to disconnect from community is not, it's not valuable. It's not there. It's a little easier for me to go, yeah, I'm going to spend time. But sometimes as an extrovert, the challenge is not building thick or deep community, right? It's like, I'm going to be friends with everybody. And make sure everybody thinks I'm super fun and awesome, and that's a fool's errand as well, right? There's a beautiful place of recharging, being okay with yourself, and also building and deepening that community, and I think it's special.
So, as a 14-year-old coming here, like, as you think back of the 14-year-old Shane and coming here, like, what were your biggest takeaways about the importance of community, even if you couldn't, know that then, but looking back, like, were there certain things that happened where it's like, I need people?
Yes.
Was that okay?
Yeah, 100%.
What does that look
So
like?
that 14-year-old kid, I'm so thankful I'm far removed from him, but I don't regret the experience I got to walk through. I think it taught me a lot about resilience and grit and get up and go. But at that time, I was so aggravated and wanted to end everything, including my life. I was just done. But the people at the ranch don't let go. They won't let go of you. They won't let you isolate. They recognize when it needs to be something that has a spotlight on it versus tucked away in a closet. And so my house mom, Donna Washington, stayed up with me all night one night. I mean, it was all night. I remember taking a shower and going to school the next morning is what it felt like. And just walked me through a lot of emotional hurt and pain, and let me know that it's okay, that people are here. So, and that, what I wanted to do is just be alone, left alone.
Yeah.
But her, just for no reason other than the fact that she's like, I'm here and I love you, gave me everything that night as far as hope. Gave my life to Christ that night.
It's to me, it's like such a timing thing too. Like, just waiting on that moment. I don't know how long you were here before y'all had that all-night session.
About 3 months, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but we talk about that a lot here. Sometimes we just feel like we're waiting out for that child to get to a place, and we're going to be there when God opens that door to have that meaningful connection. Yeah.
Well, and you had this powerful moment with Donna and with others, but particularly there, as we think about like our parenting and like setting up for your kids, like obviously yours was kind of a pressure cooker environment that not everybody walks through. Like, how do we create some of that same mentorship or same like caring adult in your life that you had and some level I had growing up?
Yeah, the idea of mentorship is fascinating to me. I see it a lot in work environments. I think a lot of companies and teams that thrive have a mentorship in place, some sort of program in place.
Yeah.
Mentorship for me, I mean, I grew up in Georgia, so there's a little bit of redneck in me, you know.
Right.
Mentorship to me has been there, done that, you know. And I look for those people. Like I like hard pursuits now in the mountains. And so where I try to seek advice from them about what do you do when you're in this situation, I have to ask somebody that's been there. If somebody hasn't been there, they wrote a book about mountaineering, I don't trust it. So they've got to have that personal experience for me. So the mentorship, I've been a kid, you know, and now I'm a father. Actually, I was terrified when my boys turned 14. And I didn't realize it in the moment. Up until then, what was happening, I probably, you know, I'm due a few counseling sessions from Philip.
Right.
I didn't realize how much fear I had and wrapped up of knowing hell's coming.
Yeah.
That's all I could think. It's coming. And I remember my wife one day just literally grabbing me. And it's like, what you experience doesn't have to be what they experience at all. It's not their destiny.
Yeah.
This can be a, quote, normal, healthy family. She did say last night, though, I think the harder times are coming. And I was like, what do you know that I don't know?
Yeah.
She said, no,
Tell me
just
more.
as they are adulting, as you become an adult. And you
I think that's
have
so,
to deal with that.
it's not funny, but funny as someone who likes struggle, who likes to get put in difficult situations. But like when it comes to your kid, you're like, no, this can't happen, you know?
I know. And I feel like I've actually protected them probably a little too much. You know, they hear from me, there's value in struggle. But when I look at their lives, I'm thinking, we do everything in the world as a parent to try to not let them struggle. And sometimes I wonder if we're crippling them more than empowering them to be solid contributors.
Yeah,
It's such a hard balance. Like we had
Yes.
this moment just the other day, and it was like around our 16-year-old and work. And should we remind him that he has work? And like, no, don't remind him. But we kind of should remind him. No, I don't think. Like, and Emily and I were having it. Like, it was a fine little conversation, but around like how much struggle. I don't want him to get fired. It's a really good job. Like
It goes on
and he
his
wasn't gonna
permanent
get fired,
record.
right?
So-
It goes on his permanent record. But that's a hard balance as a parent to know. Hey, how much do we create or help mentor or help kind of press into? And you're
Well,
doing a great job.
Well, and I think too, I wonder if a lot of parents listening, maybe they're on the other end of the spectrum where they feel like my child is really struggling, like how you were feeling at 14, alone. I want to end it all, you know, somewhere on that spectrum. Do you have any like encouragement for parents that are walking right now with like, I'm not connected with my child and we don't have community, like some baby steps for them?
I mean, action, I always think action's love, you know, and so if there's no action, then it's hard to get from the feeling side of it, it's hard to feel loved, I guess.
Okay.
So when I think of action that a parent could take, I think an intentional move, subtle, a touch on the head, you know, shoulder when you walk by, I love you, good morning, anything I can do for you. I think being involved, being nosy, asking questions about their friends, you know, things that aggravate them. But I think when the kid's going to school or when they're off on their own or they're walking to the bus stop or whatever, they're going to be like, man, my dad never talks to me, but he asked me 3 things this morning, you know, or I think just
So it's
showing care and
little
concern.
action.
Oh, yes. Little intentional moves, just progress is all we're looking for. But I think it's got to be intentional. You know, we work with a lot of companies and they'll have a great one-off sale and they'll praise it. And I'll say, well, how do you guarantee, you know, how do you repeat it tomorrow? What 3 steps did you take today to, you know, produce that level of success? We don't know. Well, then it's likely you're not going to be able to repeat it. You know, and if you can't articulate why you're successful, then what's the point? So I think for a parent who is just wild and have no idea what's going on, definitely seek help from community. I think the ranch even offers some guidance, you know.
But so you talked about it a little bit, but your work is around creating these embodied relationships for teens and adults. That you're creating a little bit of struggle, you're creating these experiences for people that I don't think they always have in their teams. And so why do you think this is so important? Like what sort of drives that sort of team building work that you do day in, day out?
Well, we do try to synthetically produce struggle all the time. Sometimes we
Just sick,
tell
Shane.
groups.
That's just sick in the head.
There's value in it. Struggle has a way of making individuals, it turns them into a community. really. And so when you're walking through that struggle together with somebody, you do feel more drawn to them next time. And it doesn't matter. It almost doesn't matter who it is. So like I do like to hike a lot, and so sometimes you're coming into a shelter in the evening if you're going to stay there, and it's been brutal. You've had a long day. It's hailing. It's freezing. Everything you have soaked. You've done all you can do. You haven't eaten well. Everything's going like just sour. And you get into a shelter and somebody is there. There's an instant bond. There's an instant connection because they experience the same thing that you've been experiencing all day today. And so you kind of highlight the struggle in a fun way, but you're instantly tied to them, but you don't know them at all. So there's something about struggle and knowing that you've been there, kind of walking through it, that definitely bonds people together. With companies, a lot of times, and able to produce this sort of synthetic struggle through an initiative, they kind of know it's there and happening, but what they don't realize is you're being caught, in a sense, in real time of being who you really are. So they say, do, and act in struggle what they do when they don't struggle a lot of times. And so you try to create this level of awareness for them, and you present it as an opportunity for them to make a choice to do something new and different.
Well, and I think too, it's like, what is that saying? Like you really see who you are when you're squeezed, So it's like, oh, there's some really not pretty things happening, right now with me because I am being squeezed or pressured. I was thinking about too, you were talking about team building for companies, but I mean, this applies to families. And I even thinking about, like, I know you come here from time to time and do like team building things with the kids, and like, what's your thought process behind when you come out here and work with the kids? What are you trying to accomplish with them, or trying to get them to realize?
I always think empowerment a lot of times when I'm coming out to the ranch, that you have something to contribute. In fact, this team, this home is not the same when you're gone. So what contribution is that? And then a lot of times you hear it's self-concerning, they kind of demean themselves at times. You hear that. And so you're trying to coach and train that in that regard, that, the Grace Home doesn't look like the Grace Home unless you're here. And so we would be at a loss. We wouldn't have the contribution. We wouldn't.
Do you
have
actually
that.
say that to them?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay.
So we get to have those opportunities.
That's good. So talk a little bit about struggle in Nepal. I know this is like a total U-turn or sort of sideways, but community and struggle in Nepal. I know that you've got a heart and a passion for that area of the world. You've spent some time over there. Just give me like a quick flyby, like the way you've seen struggle and community built in that particular part of the world.
The struggle is completely different, first of all. What my most recent trip to Nepal, I just came back from January. And, it took us 6 days to get to the village we were trying to get to from the time I left. And Jeep rides and, 15-hour Jeep rides, 50 miles of trekking, 32,000 feet of elevation gain and loss. And you're looking at these communities and these people, and you're thinking, there's no power, there's no electricity, there's no water. And so they're so bonded together. At 10 o'clock at night, we'd stick our head into a rock house because smoke was finally coming out. And there would be a Didi there, an older Tibetan lady. And we say, we need a place to sleep and we need food to eat. And it's come in. And we sit for hours drinking tea and living in community while we're eating dalbat, And so there's this idea of they struggle. They are hard people. I mean, it's the breaking ice on the side of the river, to get their water, because it's January in Nepal.
It's cold.
It's cold. It's cold. Yeah, single digits for sure and under. But anybody would help anybody at any time there. Anybody, if I asked for anything on the trail, they would do it. That does not happen in Georgia on the AT or in Maine on the AT a lot of times. And that is a community, a strong community of hikers stateside. But there's a mentality there that life is precious and it's very real. And a night out exposed, you could lose it. And so they will protect and just add and really sort of surrender and offer the very little that they have. Now we compensate and do all that and try to help and make it better than when we left. Yeah. But that struggle in that community, for thousands of years, they've lived in these villages high up in the mountains. They could move. They could go down to Kathmandu. But their identity is wrapped up in that culture. It's Tibetan Buddhism is where they kind of land. But it's wrapped up in that, and it's their job to kind of continue that. So with the struggle, with the hardship, they're going to continue to live there because that's their place.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm going to go Christian on you for a second. I'm really grateful for, I'm always a Christian, but I'm going to like speak into it. I am really thankful that you are working to bring the light of the gospel to what is a beautiful community. And the hope and the dream and the prayer, I know for you and for me, as you do this, is like that deep community with Jesus is like the power there. I'm like sitting here listening to that, like that's the picture of the church that I'm hopeful for you as you continue to bring the gospel to unreached people in Nepal. And the American self-reliance and ability to isolate has been so bad for us. You know, like in the sense that like the fact that I don't really need anybody to get my food and shelter and like livelihood and water. I just turn on the sink and the water comes on. Like these things are beautiful conveniences of an American, and they break down some of that community. And I think with technology was like so much of what we're talking about. With teens today, they need it even less. They need like an embodied experience even less than other, we do. But we're like, you know, a little bit old. You guys especially.
Well, and I just like, it's so powerful. And I just like kind of bringing it full circle back to parenting. You know, one thing that I'm encouraged about today, Shane, is just this idea of struggle is an opportunity for us as parents and as kids or as individuals to lean in and have something positive come out of it. So as I think about people listening, and all of us have our seasons of struggling as a parent,
You're
to
primed
maybe
to
reframe
learn.
it. Yeah, like maybe we need to, can you help us reframe? Like if we're going through a hard season with our child and it's just feeling kind of hopeless, like can you help us reframe this season that we're in?
I think comfort connects people loosely, and struggle connects them deeply.
Okay.
So with the family and this idea of we're struggling right now, we're going through this together. It's you keep going, you keep moving. Once you quit, the outcome's determined. You're a quitter, you know, and that doesn't do any good. So even if you don't know what you're doing, I'm just going to try to make progress today.
I think about your mom.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I'm sure
Unbelievable.
Eagle Ranch was not the first thing she tried.
No, she's a hustler. She was a
And
hustler.
I mean,
yes.
and that even speaks volumes for her
Yes.
love for her child. Even if you didn't know it at the time, looking back, I every time you talk about your mom, your face just lights up.
She had every reason in the world to walk away. Every reason,
Yeah.
but just didn't.
Yeah.
We're getting near time. I'd love to hear a little bit, kind of as we end, your perspective as a parent. How have you been able to disciple your kids towards community, right? Not just, you know, hey, what you've taught them, but like how have you kind of helped push them towards here's healthy, good community for you to be a part of?
Yeah. We try to mentor a positive relationship, my wife and I, Stephanie. So we try to mentor that, what a healthy relationship should look like, trust, respect, and value, that we value one another's values, even if it's not our top tier, and try to teach them that extends to their friends. So the things that you find out are not the commonalities, celebrate those in them, because they're going to strengthen you because you don't have that skill set. We try to set them up with opportunities of people that have shared interest, interest, so that community is more intuitively built or established. They feel drawn towards their faith and youth group, or towards sports, or towards guitar, towards my daughter is a hiker, you know, so she loves to be out in that community. But give them opportunities to try to thrive in what's important to them. We try to minimize the time that they have by themselves
Right.
on a device.
Right.
I don't know if any parent out there has a good solution, let me know, because we struggle with that one all the time, you know, about how much time is enough time. But try to just let them know that there's more out there. I mean, we made an intentional move to a farm, try to buy some land, you know, and so that they have things to do outside,
Right.
not just stuck
Are
indoors.
you big on chores?
I wish we did chores more in my house. I have to be careful here. My wife's not so structured at the home at times, and I love her dearly, of course. Love you, beautiful. But I tell them, look, I knew what I had at the ranch. It was tub and toilet, sinks, counters, mirrors, floors. That was my room chores. I had house chores, and then I had ranch chores. And then when I got in trouble, I had Shane chores.
Right.
A lot of Shane chores in the beginning.
Right.
My favorite Shane chore story is the firewood.
Oh, yes.
Can you share that really quick? Can you do a quick version of that?
Just got in trouble, had to stack firewood, didn't care to do it, did a terrible job, went inside, told my house dad I was done, and he asked me a dumb question. Said, "Are you proud of what you did?"
I love that. That's a dumb question.
It's a great question. And my kids have heard it a gazillion times now. And I said, "I don't know." And he's like, "Well, let's go look and see." We go outside, and I did a terrible job. So he ripped it all down, pushed it all down, kicked it. Was very violent about it, John. And then said, "Do it nice or do it twice." And I did it a second time, and I still remember the sidewalk curved going down. So, and you could see the front of the firewood and the back of the firewood, depending on your perspective, in different ways. And the firewood wasn't level, wasn't cut the same length. So I wasn't sure, should I make it straight on the front or the back? Because the front's the back.
Right.
But I thought about it. And so I did it, and I went back inside. "Are you proud of what you did?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And then he came out and looked at it, and he said, "Good job." And I don't know that I ever heard "good job." So that
something
alone
clicked in you because
yes, that alone. And so my work ethic, I would like to think, is high. My resilience, my grit is high, and I attribute a lot of that to work ethic taught to me at Eagle Ranch.
Yeah.
So,
And do you just have a little bit of a screw loose? I've been in a few spots with you. Your resilience is it's like a special.
I like to be scared.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And you can be a little scary.
So yeah, you like to be scared, and then those of us who have less resilience are really scared. So yeah, it's fun, man. I love it.
For the record, I've not had anybody pass away on a trip.
I
that
know. We're aware, but and some, I've been in a few experiences that have been very powerful and meaningful that you've led, and have been really good for me in kind of building that resilience. It's particularly hard, Kelly, when you're with Shane, with a group of kids, and he tells them to do something, and as the adult, you have to pretend like you're not scared. You're like, "All right, kids, here we go." He's leading us to our death. But it's not. He's not. It's fine. Well, Shane, this has been such a great conversation. You I think framed this so well for us that part of community doesn't just happen. It's not as if it just falls in your lap, but there's this intentional step and even towards struggle that then begins to build this, and that we can create this same experience with our own children. And it doesn't happen digitally, right? Every example you used was in an embodied experience with other people. So I'm so appreciative of that and what you shared today. And thank you for being here with us. And thank you to everyone who tuned in today. Whether you're feeling the weight of the digital world or just trying to build a thicker community for your kids, we hope this episode gave you a sense of hope.
Yeah, and just remember, this is a two-part conversation. So we just covered some really practical thoughts and ideas with Shane. And please tune in next week. We're going to learn more about tackling the Gen Z mental health crisis in our talk with Dr. Shackelford.
If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on Apple or Spotify. It's the best way to help other parents find this community.
Yes, and as always, connect with us on Facebook and Instagram. We want to hear how you are implementing some of these ideas in your own family.
Thank you again for listening, Shane. Thanks for being here. You guys have a wonderful week.
Thanks, Shane.